There you go, both players are off. And let's see what our codes are. Could you see an 8329, I think? And 2310 from whom? That is an extremely good code from both players, honestly. Especially from whom. You see there's a basic item combination system here. So they combined that branch with the bottle of alcohol to get a wet branch, put it in the TV to get a spark. You can light that fire. This race is just house. This is the first section of the game and it's already this close. You see a 54 from 54 light bulb grab from both runners. That is a very good house for sure. So this is just house. This is the tutorial. We're going to be heading out into the first area of the game, to the Baron, pretty quickly coming up. As soon as I put this light bulb in the door. So I'm going to use the chance to talk about the kind of story of this game. This game is an adventure RPG. And it's about this character, Nico, this cat that you're playing as, who wakes up and is about to learn that they're the messiah of this world. The light bulb they're holding is the sun. And you, the player, are the god of the world. So this game is... There's a lot of meta elements to it, including one you're going to be seeing coming up in just a minute. But the game actually knows your PC name, and it will refer to you as that unless you change it. So there's a text box they mash through that actually has your PC name in it. You've seen that coming up. Again, the ability to change it, which obviously is slower than leaving it the same. From Profitbot here. So being an RPG, there's a lot of text in this game, including a lot of mashing. You can see just how fast crew's scrolling through this text. Absolute speed. Although Wh0m is keeping up. Wh0m actually the only top runner to play on a controller. So we see crewds actually pull ahead just a tiny bit more, just from mashing alone. Wh0m fast traveling to the wrong spot, fast traveling to enter instead of dock. That's gonna cost him some time. That is big for crewds right off at the start here. Something else to note, every time the game closes, you're going to see the game, every time you sleep, I mean, the game closes, so you have to actually launch the game again. Just something to note, and the timer does keep running during the game loading, so... A lot of players use different stuff. Some players use a RAM disk in order to optimize their loads. A lot of players use, instead of launching from a shortcut, use Steam directly to launch because it seems to save about half a second every time. One of the small quirks in this game. So crewds here is going to enter this next area of the cliffs and immediately fast travel out and then back in. This is what's known as a super fast travel, or an SFT. Basically, when you fast travel into an area, you're going to go to the same spot every time, usually a fairly centralized location. So it's actually faster to fast travel out and then back in than to walk to that area. It saves about the same time that it would take to take 9 steps or so, if you do it quickly. Which is pretty easy to do quickly if you get the timing down. Although the timing does change every time, because you see when you open up the fast travel menu, it scrolls through all the places you visited so far. So every time it'll change just a little bit, especially in the Barrens where there's so many areas you have to visit. Crew's about to enter the mine here. A few seconds ahead of Wh0m. Definitely something you can make up, but building a solid lead for sure right off the bat. For race, I expect to be extremely close. That's a good amount of time. Crew's making some quick menus there to uncraft that camera with screwdriver he got from Silver's house. Gonna use that crowbar to open up a safe. Or a box of some kind, and get a battery. This is one of the first big mini sections of the game, making this charged battery. See, a little bit of a mistake there, not too bad though. Plugging it in there. It was a pretty good charged battery crafting actually. And crewds talking to his computer actually generates a code for a safe in the cliffs that is spit out into a document on your computer. So players either use Notepad++ or they use the File Explorer preview mode to get this code, 399588. Decent code. There's a 5 in there and a 3, but 9s and 8s. 769386. Not a great code from whom. Crew's definitely getting more lucky there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that is actually the last instance of RNG. Kind of. Last code at least you have to get. Getting a little bit more use out of that crowbar. Grabbing the sponge and these gloves, which are going to be used to make a wet sponge. There's also a document in there with explaining directions for how to make a sponge that can help clear the rust off of a robot, but luckily the runners both know how to do that. And getting a syringe to get some strips. Crew is extremely fast with his menus today. He's definitely very warmed up. That was a frame perfect SFT from Crewds, I'm pretty sure. That was extremely fast menu, and you saw it didn't even scroll. Like from whom there, you saw it barely scrolled. The second time, you didn't even see the selection move. So very fast SFTs from both of them, just showing how good they are at this game. The second crafting section here, not too difficult. Pretty short one. Making that wet sponge. 2 down to get to the docks here. And this is the biggest matching section coming up in the 90% run at least. We're going to be cleaning off the robot here. Robot named Robot ROWBOT. Very good name for him. Down 3 here, or up 3 here to get to the lookout. Crew's getting the amber from Silver to help the robot remember how to get to the Glen, the next area in the game. While they're doing this giant mashing section, I'm going to explain the board a bit. Just take a picture in your head. Imagine there's a big outer ring, which is the Barrens. There's a middle ring, which is the Glen you're about to see. And then right in the center is a circle, which is the refuge with a tower right in the middle of it. This world is actually a very interesting shape, with this Baron stretching all the way around the entire Glen, and then the refuge fitting inside the middle of that Glen as well. Very interesting world building. And Crewds leaving the Barons. I didn't see what the final time was. Whom with an 8:10 Barons looks like. Crewds a few seconds ahead of that even. Both pretty good times for sure. Whom probably not too happy about that Barons though. Especially with the mistake. The big mistake obviously being fast traveling to the entrance instead of the docks to go to sleep. And welcome to the Glen. The second area of the game, a kind of marshy swamp area. Very beautiful. My favorite area of the game, actually. I like this green color palette. This green and blue. So actually this fast travel here, this SFT that Crewds is doing now, skips a small cutscene where Calamus, the character you're about to meet, calls out to his sister Lula. So that's what you're learning now, is that Calamus lost his sister like a couple days ago, I think, actually, and is calling out looking for her. But fast traveling there skips a small cutscene, so very important SFT there. Crewds entering the ruins. That robot there can actually decide to walk down and step in your path. Very annoying when he does that. Doesn't lose very much time, but it's extremely annoying to deal with. And both players are going to be dropping off their light bulb, the sun. Because this light bulb is the sun of the world. Their mission is to return it to the center. You're going to be leaving it with this poor plant lady named Maze. And you're going to see, just look at how bright it is on home screen right now. It's not that bright, but compared to right now on Crewds' screen. It gets a lot darker when you leave that sun. Coming up is the first tile puzzle in the game. There's a lot more of these coming up later on, but this is the first little mini version. You have to make a little shape that resembles a light bulb. And I think both runners probably do the same route. That's the fastest route. So you're going to see coming up here. I believe every step while running is, I want to say like 10 frames seems wrong. Probably 10 frames. I don't know. If Lori's still attached, he could probably tell me. You see both runners getting that very quickly. Yeah, getting that puzzle looks easy, but it is harder than it looks to get it perfectly. So up here, you see those rams down there. Talking to the shepherd will initiate a strength puzzle from Pokemon, but with rams instead. This route is actually, it's kind of a funny story with this route. Lori was talking about what the fastest ram route was a month or so ago, and she found what she thought was the fastest route. And I was like, I don't know what my route is, but it's probably slow. And she watched it, and it was like half a second, or not half a second, probably half a second faster actually, because I take more steps when I do one less ram push, which is like 34 frames. So apparently I'm very good at routing this game on accident. Crewds trading the wool he got from the shepherd to this merchant here, getting a bottle of ink, which will be useful later. Not too much later, just a bit later. If you... Whom's having a bit of trouble there. So what Whom actually just did there is he got a novelty t-shirt from that trader. By declining his first offer and saying yes to the second offer, he'll give you both the bottle of ink that you need to progress, as well as a novelty t-shirt used for a secret thing that you can get if you play this game yourself. So Whom losing a little bit of time there, for sure. Hate to see that happen, especially when you're already behind. Crewds actually just earlier got a run that was, I think, plus 1.2 or something, 1.2 seconds at the end, where he got the t-shirt. Lost probably about that much time, would have been almost new world record. Crewds going to pick up the light bulb again. You can actually kind of progress the game just a little bit longer if you don't pick up this light bulb here. And the robot that you'll talk to next will say, "Aren't you forgetting something?" So, kind of a joke among speedrunners, aren't you forgetting something? Because back especially before this game was as optimized and as muscle memory as it is now, that was something that not common, but something that you would definitely see every now and then. But now there's so much competition in this game, especially these two runners here. They're both so good. Speaking of being so good, Crewds going to sleep here. About to finish up the Glen. Crafting, using the feather he got from Calamus and Lula to create a feather pen with a bottle of ink. Or dye, or whatever it's called. Getting the feather pen. And this robot here. Crewds finishing up the Glen, going to enter the refuge. The final area of the game, other than the tower itself. The final grail in our speedrun in the game itself. Entering that at about 4:29, looks like. Pretty solid for sure. We're about to meet the lamplighter here. It's a character who lights lamps, as the name implies, who's having trouble kicking this elevator door because it won't start. Not because the elevator's broken, because the button is missing. So, we gotta rebuild that button, apparently. That is the job of the Messiah. You're gonna pick up this coffee can. Coffee tin. And go take a nap. As all messiahs must do. Yeah, I was about to point that out. I looked at that 1429 Glen finish, and crewds is gold in every single split, and is now minus 11.6. Yeah. So crewds' last world record, the one he got earlier today, he saved, I don't remember how much, but he golded the Glen split, and this run he saved 8 seconds over it. So I'm in a little bit of shock right now, but if crewds stays in this pace, this is a world record, and I don't think Whom can feel bad about that one. I don't know if Whom's looking at chat. Crew's messing up that menu there. Not a huge time loss, but a little bit. Very unfortunate to see that. Although, most of his time save in his world record... most of the time save in his world record is from... the... what's it called? The refuge. At least from what he was saying about the run in Discord. So crewds here makes that button. You can actually put the button into the elevator, but it won't work. You need to, if you put it in and you try to start it, you'll get an item called "You Tried," which is kind of funny. You have to tape the buttons together. And this elevator code is not randomly generated. You get it normally by talking to a computer. You get, I believe, an item that you equip, and when you do, or you look at, and then you move the window around to actually reveal the password. Crewds doesn't put the password right. Good to see. 63014 every time. Whom just now turning on the elevator. (62015) This elevator is actually kind of annoying because you have to talk about all three. You have to talk about his life, his work, and the library. It's like that. It's not his life. I feel like that's wrong. It might be his life. Job. That's the one. I was like, life seems wrong. He'll talk about his job. Crewds are getting a few fast travel points before going into the library's final area of the refuge, actually. And this is the one skip in the game here, what makes this separate from the glitchless category. You're going to see crewds walking up to Bookbot here. Or running, failing kip skip once. Crewds doing running kip skip. I'm a huge fan. Save those frames, even if you missed it the first time. The kip skip is you walk into that trigger where Bookbot is, and you close the game. And what that does is Bookbot will normally push you back and say you need a library card to enter. But if you close the game, then the game activates the cutscene for reopening the game, and the Bookbot cutscene gets skipped. Allows you to skip a massive section in the game, including another puzzle, some menuing, getting a library card. You don't want to do that. Something you may have noticed is that on home screen, you see the George, this character with a die on their head, has a 2, whereas on crewds you're going to see a 1. George is randomized every run, and they do have different amounts of dialogue. George 5 is the fastest, George 3 is the slowest. George 1 and 2 are both not too bad, I don't think. I think crewds is good. That might have been a soft lock. It was close. I hope so. I hope not. No, I hear him walking. Good. I was a little worried for a second there. If you do that too late, you can actually soft lock the game, where the game will activate both your wake up cutscene as well as the bookbot text, and there's nothing you can do. You have to just reset or load a new save. But don't want to see that in a run. So after that refuge, he's now minus 12.9 going into tower. So, so what? Crewds is insane. I don't know what to say anymore. But crewds walking here to this computer here. Gonna have to mash through that a little bit. And then one more sleep. There's actually a file we have to open. That's a Clover program. That's in the game files. That if you don't open it here, then you'll kind of wake up and go right back to sleep. Hopefully it does it open. I assume it does. Sounds like it. That is the last dream, which you don't get to see very many of the dreams, just due to the game having to reopen and OBS having to recapture it. And crewds entering tower. Tower here is a giant maze labyrinth thing with the same solutions every time. So you're going to see him go left, up, right, left, down, down for this first section. The next section is going to be doors that you have to enter the right one. Lori, who's in chat here, can probably rattle off every number. Actually, not probably. Can definitely rattle off every number for the doors. Going leftmost door being 1, counting up. I don't remember that anymore, but so far doing good. Getting through these doors. Winner died there for a little second, but we're back. Okay, that's good. I was a little worried. Now, crewds, on the tile puzzles here, these are very difficult. Not difficult, but these are very easy to mess up. Due to the fact that if you mess up once, you step on the wrong tile, and you have to undo it and then redo the one that's correct. Crewds so far not having any mistakes. Wh0m also going through this tower pretty quickly. And this is a light bulb puzzle. This is the infamous one for killing runs. Crewds flying through it. Not a care in the world. Never mind. Care in the world. 1 care. Messes up a little bit. Only a couple second timeouts probably. And that's it. That's the final puzzle in the game. The rest is just a little bit of light mashing. So, I think we're going to see a new record here. Wh0m, sorry, I have the light bulb puzzle right here now. A little bit of a mistake, not too bad though. A little bit more of a mistake, not too bad though. Going for the exact same route that crewds does. That's a bigger mistake. Very unfortunate from Wh0m. Crewds having to spam enter here to get through these text boxes that pop up. Actually, enter is by default a menu key, so a lot of players unbind that to not open menu on accident when trying to smash through this. Crewds mashing through it extremely quickly. Entering the elevator at 24:31. This is an insane pace. This is a new world record for sure. It's not a 24, but this is going to be a 25 1x. gonna be like what, 25-12? 25-10. Crewds with the new world record, crushing the previous world record by 12 seconds. 25-10. Crewds. That's insane. So, this is actually a huge milestone because there was a 26-11 by Doorbell that stood for a pretty good amount of time back before the tournament and everything. That was the world record for a while. And Crewds passed it by a minute. This run has passed it by a minute. That is insane. I guess both runners are going to be getting to the ending here. Whom we might have been in Discord. Whom getting set up for last text box. I hope Crewds is going to do the same thing quickly so we can get this game 2 on the road. That, I'm pretty sure that's the first PB we've seen in tournament. I don't think. Oh, iPad PB. That's right. iPad got a PB earlier, but that's the first world record we've seen in tournament. That is a 25-10. Absolutely incredible. It sounds like Crewds is getting set up. As soon as he lets me know he's ready. So we should hopefully be seeing a game 2 pretty soon on this Battle of Titans that was way more one-sided than I was expecting to see game 1. I mean, how do you compete with the 12-second world record? How do you compete with a 25-10? There's now almost officially... Well, that means there's now over 90 seconds between first and third place. Third place held by... fourth place. First and fourth. First and fourth place. There's 30 seconds between first and third, though. SMH Crewds. Who's accidentally started. So yeah, we have our first place is 25-10 now. Second place with whom? Okay, we have it ready. Yeah, second place Wh0m with a 25-28. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 25-28. And then third place Durbill, the 25-42 or 43, I believe 43. Followed by Lori D. Bunnykins here in fourth place with a 26-42. There is a big gap between those top three, and now between this top one and anyone else. But that was game one. This is game two. We saw two really good PC codes. 4259, not great from crewds this time. 2516, very similar PC codes, it seems like, from Wh0m and crewds. That's funny. Crewds getting through it a little bit faster. I think his might have been a little bit better. And Wh0m made a little bit of a mistake too also. Lighting this fire. A lot of learning about how dim or comforting those flames are. Crewds' run had very few mistakes at all. There was a tiny slip up in Upper Refuge with crafting the button. There was a tiny slip up in the light bulb puzzle and tower. That's all I can think of right now. The only kind of any slowness or mistake or anything that crewds made the entirety of that run. So this is going to be a hard one to beat. Even for crewds himself. But we've said this game is pretty close to dead before. We thought 26-11 was an extremely good time. We thought 25. We thought the 25 would be very hard to actually get and would never happen. Would take a perfect run. We thought 25-30. We thought 25-30 would be like a pipe dream. Now we're at 25-10. This game is truly impressive, and crewds is truly impressive. Both players mashing, getting through that, getting the correct dialogue option there. Who I'm not too far behind right now. There's this Calamus. It's actually kind of funny. Not a huge difference right now between these two runners, but definitely some. And crewds is on another level and can definitely build this lead. Because even just in that small matching section, crewds built that lead by another second or so. Crewds is truly on another level with this mashing. It's insane to see. Both players with pretty good SFTs. Gonna be seeing one more coming up here, in and out of the lookout point, and then right back in. You actually see both runners opting to go down first for this SFTs, which is kind of funny because a lot of runners seem to go up first. Doesn't make a difference, obviously, it's just preference, but you know, it's funny to think about. There's a lot of like funny differences between runners, such as which way they go for SFTs, how they do different walk patterns. Like you'll see walking, there's no time to turn in this game, so players have all kinds of different ways that they choose to walk through areas, because it does make a difference with the number of steps. It's just funny to see, like you see Wh0m another one step above where crewds is. Yeah, they're going back to the outpost to build the charge battery. I believe there's a small mistake here, selecting the empty bottle on accident during this section. Way better that time. Not selecting charge battery, not too much better than, I guess. Boom, really fast with this menu. An expert on controller for sure. Really pushing how far we thought the controller could go. Let's see these safe codes. Being one of the few elements of true RNG in this game, a lot of players like to complain about their safe codes because they lose a couple seconds. That was a pretty good code from crewds, I mean. And not a great code from Wh0m. Very unfortunate. Not horrible, but not great for sure. crewds had a pretty good one. Getting the gas mask and the strange journal. To progress up here. To this old factory. Getting one more use out of that crowbar. Possibly the final one if we don't see game 3. When the crewd keeps playing, that's not gonna happen. Both runners just making their way here, not too much exciting happening right now. Just a little bit of light walking. You see crewds do this menu here probably pretty quickly. Yep. The crewds has built his lead by another second or so from even just when they had the sleep section earlier in the Barrens. crewds showing why he's a world record holder. Going to get this gas into this bottle and apparently smash a filled syringe with the crowbar. Bit of time lost there. Wh0m actually catching up here a little bit. Yeah, Wh0m actually caught up by a second or so there with that menu section that crewds didn't do so great on. Both players talking to robot. Again, fast travel. Up 3 to lookout point. And chess. This is where the boys become men. We're going to see the difference in matching here, potentially. About 3 seconds behind. Wh0m's about 3 seconds behind right now. crewds fading out at 42. Wh0m fading out at 47. crewds saved almost 2 seconds in the chess section. Just that fairly short section of mashing, crewd saved almost 2 seconds in over Wh0m. He was mashing pretty quickly too. Just when you put it in perspective like that, it's wild, and it's clear how crewds has the world record. Kind of makes you wonder how far he could take this game. Robot leaving. crewd's gonna enter the glen here. Beautiful panoramic. crewds had a near perfect, if not perfect, glen in that last run, so I don't know if he could top that. I would have some insane mashing and obviously no mistakes. I mean, the glen saved 8 seconds over the old world record, so anything can happen. I think he finished with a 14:29. Got stopped by the robot there, as I talked about last time. Who getting a little bit luckier. Yeah, saying that crewds is gonna be hard to top into crewds' times is like a challenge, because you know it's gonna happen. He surprises us every time. But both winners about to drop off the light bulb with Maze here. And let's see this free Lula puzzle coming up. Both players going to run back to that room that's open up now to do this quick puzzle. Hopefully quick puzzle. Yes, the route that both the players are doing is the fastest route, as far as we know at least. Probably not a whole lot of room for improvement though, it's pretty optimized. You see actually crewds takes one extra step there at the end. That is just to get a little bit closer to Alula. I think who might take a step down, yep. Same thing, but it's all preference. Both players with pretty much perfect free Lula puzzles. It's great to see, because that can definitely be something very easy to mess up. And if you mess it up, it could be a pretty decent time loss. Both players are going to do this ram puzzle here. I think they both do at least a very similar route, or some variation of it. Who's not talking to the shepherd there? A little bit awkward walking around him. I'm getting stopped. Oh, that was unfortunate. That ram walked in the way. Crew's finishing up their ram puzzle. Boom, about to do the same. Let's see, no novelty t-shirt this time from whom? Preferably. Novelty t-shirt from crewds this time. And that's a little bit of time lost there. Something I didn't get to talk about last time, because I talked about the novelty t-shirt, was this right here. Just coming up, there is a dialogue option there. You saw the yes or no pop up for a very short time before crewds mashed through it. Whom as well. Where if you say no, you lose about 15 seconds due to where you're saying no to is going to their place, which is required to progress the story. But it is faster to get teleported there than to have to walk there yourself. So you want to say yes to that. If you don't, you lose about 15 seconds. Very big, very unfortunate time loss for sure. Luckily, neither runner getting that. If you pay attention and know how the matching works, then you can usually avoid it pretty easily. And both runners coming to pick up their sun. Sun being S-U-N, not S-O-N. So while we're not doing a whole lot, let me pull up the bracket actually, talk about how that's going. This is round 2 of the winner's side. And this is our final match in this round 2. So the winner of this game is set to play Durbil, the 3rd place holder, former record holder for a very, very long time, up in winners finals. So that'll be very exciting. Whom's Calamus is still funny to me. And then the loser of this race, crewds or whom, is going to get to play Chris 18, who I believe was in chat earlier, in the losers bracket for round 2 for playing for 5th. And then after that, we're going to have obviously that loser match. We're going to have Durbil versus the winner of this match, and then me versus Lori. Which I'm excited for all those matches. It's going to be fun. So last time we saw crewds with the 1429 on here. 1432 this time. Or 33 probably, based on where he splits. 1433. Whatever this area is called, Glen. About 4 seconds behind then. Which is not too much considering that would have been world record pace just last run. Wh0m definitely keeping up a lot better this run, it seems like. I don't know what pace he's on, but seems to be pretty decent. crewds flying through that text there. It's every time I see it, I don't think it's real. Not the fastest SFT, but does the job. Something funny is that this coffee can that they use for the button, it says, because it's coffee, it says ground on it. It's just a funny joke to me that the button because the button said ground on it, on the elevator, because it goes to the ground, no refuge. But that button does say ground as well. crewds heading to bed here. Seeing Wh0m doing the same thing. It'll take a pretty decent screw up to change the tide to this. And Wh0m to play well. But it is possible. It is most definitely possible. So crewds had, like I said, one of the small mistakes that crewds had in his world record run last run was he had a mistake with his button crafting. Let's see if he can do a little bit better. He definitely could have saved more time over his PB in this run due to some mistakes he had in refuge specifically. The novel t-shirt sitting there mocking him. Not great, didn't select the button right away, but not too bad. Better mistake than last time. You can see him go right to elevator deck and up to the offices to tape that button up. Something else interesting is that crewds likes to make items pretty much right away whenever he gets all the items, which is what a lot of players do. Wh0m actually doesn't craft items until he's at the next location. You're going to see Wh0m stop in front of this tape dispenser and craft the button. crewds having a lot of trouble selecting that button. But does eventually get it. See if you can get this elevator code 63014. Does get it. Oh, did not get it? I missed it. crewds missed the elevator code, giving Wh0m a bit of a chance to catch up. I thought I got it right. Oops. Hate to see that happen. Probably not a record pace run anyways for crewds, but still a very good run. I didn't see him mess up either. But obviously messed with the elevator code. I don't know. Maybe he just hit up one more time and he didn't see the 5 come out from the very end. crewds going here, grab that back alley. It's interesting to see this routing here. You see them grab that back alley fast travel point by walking into it. And then go right there so they can get to the vendor street. This is a pretty cool little thing. Instead of just a straight SFT to the library, you're going to see them fast traveling to get that vendor point. We saw crewds do running kick skip and miss it first time. Did get it that time. There you go. Better from Wh0m. Good from Wh0m, I mean. Does do walking kip skip. Running kip skip saves a few frames over walking, but it's cooler, which is the important part. crewds getting George 6. Wh0m getting George 2 again, Pretty sure I got George 2 first run. That's pretty funny. It's a much closer run than the last one, for sure. Yeah, you could tell for Kipskip, you could tell if it's a soft lock. You could tell it's not a soft lock, at least, if Nico takes another step. So if after you close the game, Nico takes one more small step, then you know that you're good. At least in my experience. Because yeah, that can soft lock if you close the game too late. Crewds does not want to read what that has to say. He just wants to get right to the end. There we go. Crewds with a very good kip skip there. Let's see if Wh0m can replicate that. Get a good one of his own. Looks good. Neither run having any issue with the one big skip in the game. Crew's having some fast travel trouble there. Talking's hard. Giving Wh0m potentially just a little bit more time to catch up. Because if who's making a mistake as well. If we see any errors on the tower, we can definitely see the tide turn for this race and get a game 3. We did see a pretty clean tower from both runners last time, but you never know. There is always a light bulb puzzle. We have both runners in the tower. I didn't see for sure, but Crewds is probably behind his PB, even though his PB missed Kipskip the first time. I'd imagine he's behind due to some mistakes, including those fast travels, obviously, and the elevator. Crewds taking that final nap. Wh0m just now getting into the bed. It looks like Crewds forgot the Clover program. Yeah. Crewds forgot the Clover program. The game just opened and closed itself. Wh0m is now in the lead, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Wh0m has gained the lead back from Crewds after Crewds forgot to open the Clover program. That is a huge time loss. You hate to see that right now. In the final areas, final minutes of the game, the tides have turned. Crewds' game is not on screen right now. I don't know if he knows that. There it is. Took a while. So Crewds is just now talking to the computer while Wh0m is flying through this door puzzle right now. We might see a game 3 if we don't see any mistakes from Wh0m. That is very unfortunate for Crewds for sure. No mistakes indoors there. Thing to note is you see Wh0m stopping right on that tile. You can do that glitch like I talked about earlier with walking one extra step on the tile puzzles, which you actually see probably in the light bulb puzzle. But it is a little bit faster to stop on that tile than to wait for Nico to walk. There's a couple frames, so. Wh0m so far so good. Crewds just now finishing up the doors. And Wh0m making this light bulb. I don't know if he knows that he gained the lead back, but a perfect light bulb there from Wh0m. And Wh0m, that's pretty much it. Wh0m takes game 2. We're going to see a game 3, boys. And Crewds having a little bit of trouble with this light bulb, too. Too little, too late anyways, even if There's not much for him to make a mistake on anyway, so it's not like crewds could have caught up. Very fortunate, but, you know, more one-shot. Game 3 coming up. Whom just about to enter the elevator. Crewds just about to enter the final stretch here, but about to see Whom finish here with looking like a low. Is that a PB from Whom? I don't think so. No, because PBs, yeah. $25.31 from Whom. Crewds is in the elevator now. So there you go. There's Crewds finishing with a 25.57. Very unfortunate. But we do get to see Game 3. As soon as both of ours are ready, we're going to get going. Because we are a little bit behind schedule. Both runners looks like they're resetting. We're going to be seeing Game 3 coming right up. There, Whom resetting the game. Whom says he's ready. As soon as we get the ready from Crewds, I'll do a countdown. We're going to be heading off into Game 3, the final game. Okay, counting down. There you go. Counted down. So we are about to be off on Game 3. Crewds versus Wh0misDS. If you're just now tuning in, you've missed a wild set. You missed Crewds getting a world record by 12 seconds Game 1. Followed by Crewds and Whom being about 5 seconds apart or so. Going into Tower, and Crewds not opening the Clover program required to progress. Losing him, and having it close on him. Losing him a lot of time, about 20 seconds or so, at least. Giving Whom the lead. And 9031 from Crewds. 9576 from Whom. That is like one of the worst. That might be the worst pass you can get. Yeah. No, not, but it is one of the worst passes you can get. That is pretty bad. I had to think about that one for a second. Hate to see that happen. Whom did not input it very quickly either. Giving Crewds an early lead here. But yes, this set has been a roller coaster of emotions and I would say leads going back and forth, but it's pretty much in Crewds having the lead the entire time, just maintaining it with a chokehold over it. Even if he makes a mistake, he's far enough ahead that Whom barely has time to catch up before Crewds is moving on. But the mistaken tower was too big. And Wh0m was able to surpass him. So we are seeing a game 3. Our top 2 runners. crewds a pretty good house there, it looks like. Wh0m not great with that BC code. What you think you can get. It is a tournament, there is no resetting. I'm getting the information. crewds got a gold house, so that's exciting for crewds. crewds has been playing out of his mind today. At least first game, he's playing out of his mind. Pretty quick selection there. Confirming his name is in fact Rush, apparently. Good to know. And taking that. Something funny to note, most runners, a lot of runners at least, will grab that metal pipe there on the right away as soon as they enter the docks. As soon as they enter the bedroom there in the docks. But it is technically 1 step faster, or 10 frames, to not grab that right away and to grab it after you sleep. Wh0m just started doing this today. crewds, I don't know how long he's been doing it, but funny little tidbit. It's one of those things that's 10 frames, we may as well save them. No reason to waste that time. crewds a pretty clean start here. Yeah, I think it's an understatement. After a gold house, as well as a good barons in general. At least so far, there's still plenty of game left. About 22 minutes of it. You're seeing some SFTs, you missed it. The SFT, basically how that works is when you enter an area, you get the fast travel for it almost every time. So you can fast travel out of the area in the back end and go to the same spot, which is about usually a pretty central point in that area. And it takes about the same amount of time to fast travel out and back in. It takes 9 steps or so. So we use that plenty of places to avoid walking long distances. Doing with very good SFTs there, actually. Little small time save. crewds walks to the right side of that mine entrance because Silver walks very slowly, so he wanted her to walk the least amount of steps possible. Wh0m probably do the same thing. Yep. You also do that with Calamus in the Glen. You'll see them walking down to talk to him pretty much right level with him. Because you can talk to him from anyone who'll walk to you, but you rather walk to him because you're faster by running. crewds had a bit of a mistake both runs with this generator split with crafting the charge battery. Very annoying item to craft sometimes. Let's see if he can be a little bit more successful this time. And he is. Make sure to take a tiny bit of time to equip it instead of flying through it and missing like he did last time. 449 generator. That is not bad. Wh0m about 1 second behind the splits he's comparing against, which might be a 26, I'm not sure. Let's see what these safe codes are. These safe codes are randomly generated. 8138, I didn't see what that last was. But not bad code for sure. Very good code from crewds. 974350. Both codes ending in 0, it looks like. It's kind of funny. Not too bad from Wh0m, not as good as crewds, I don't think. Did have a 5 in it, which you hate to see. Both players in the Soul Factory grabbing the gloves and the sponge there. And we're going to be seeing them go here to this shrimp swamp pretty quickly. Make this wet sponge, clean off robot. The second big menu section coming up in just a moment. At least on crewds' screen. A little bit longer for whom. Tiny bit behind. Not too much. Crewds filling that bottle with the syringe, making that wet sponge, and fast traveling back to the docks. Pretty clean from crewds. Very good from whom here. That was extremely good section from whom. Going right to the lookout point there. Talking is over. I don't know what pace crewds is on, but it seems good. Whom not too far behind though. Absolutely. But crewds ungodly mashing and getting word that crewds got a gold barons, which I'm not surprised by at all. That was very quick. Oh, this is sub 8 barons, isn't it? 758 barons, or 757. That, I think, is the first sub 8 barons as far as I know. Unless crewds got one last run, but I don't, last run record. But I don't remember if he did or not. I don't think he did, though. But yeah, sub 8 barons has been, like, a dream for, like, just getting a very good run. And crewds got it. I guess I can see what pace he's on. That'll tell me. But as we saw last game, one big mistake can cost the entire thing. So you can notice on crewds' screen, he walks all the way down here to talk to Calamus, because if you don't, Calamus will walk up to you. And whom can do the same thing after fast traveling. Pretty quick mashing from whom. Crewds getting stopped to get. Oh my god, Crewds running through it, the robot walking out of his way, looking at Crewds' pace, knowing that Crewds is ahead of world record, and walks out of the way. Yes, Crewds is currently 1.7 seconds ahead of world record, or at least going out of barons he was. Yeah, the robot was inspecting the world record here. Boom, dropping off his light bulb as well. Let's see if crewds can get this. I think they've had very good success with this Free Lula puzzle so far. Hopefully we can get a 6 for 6 on this one from both runners. Crewds extremely quick with it. Perfect. Whom as well. Whom messed up a little bit there. That's a couple seconds. Very unfortunate. Especially when you're already behind. When you're going up against someone on world record pace. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose the time to small stuff like that if you can avoid it. By the way, just to note while we're here, we're not gonna have time for interview, unfortunately. Crewds doesn't have a mic, so we couldn't interview him regardless. But We didn't have time for interview due to everything being behind schedule. I'm going to blame Lori and Chad here for that one. So, at Lori. Very easy Rambozo here. Crewds doing the same stuff. Works great. Let's see if we get another t-shirt. We've gotten one t-shirt from each runner so far. Maybe we can get a run with no t-shirts. That's the dream. We did it. No t-shirt from Crewds. Oh, Crewds saying no to Calamus there. 15 seconds gone. That is huge. Crewds on world record pace loses 15 seconds to Calamus decision. And Wh0mis not quite in the lead from that. But that's the world record gone right there for sure. Not even Crewds can recover from that one. That is a big blow. Yeah, he is still in the lead though. Pretty solidly, but not as solidly as before. You can see just how much time that lost due to how much Wh0mis was able to catch up that quickly. It would have been crazy to see 2 world records on stream, but not anymore. But seeing the fact that we saw a choke like that, and Wh0mis is still behind by a pretty solid margin, just shows how insane Crewds is at the video game. The thing I didn't mention so far is that these beds, you see them always walking the extra tile to talk to the middle section of the bed, except for in Barons. You saw them talk to the bottom tile. Each bed has a tile that Nico will walk on every time. So if you talk to the bottom tile and it's the middle tile that you want to talk to, then you have to walk an extra step very slowly up to that tile. So we always make sure to talk to the right tile on the bed. Saves a tiny amount of time, but might as well do it again. And Wh0m got the novelty t-shirt? I didn't even see that. Very unfortunate. We got a t-shirt every single run today. Looking at Wh0m's stream, Wh0m lost about 10 seconds from Calamus' decision. Very unfortunate. I did not think there was 10 seconds to save in this world record. He's 8 seconds behind right now. I'm finishing at 14:47. Crewds not slowing down at all, just still mashing like the wind. Getting through this dialogue. Hopefully we don't see another misinput on the elevator code. That was very unfortunate last run. Didn't see what happened. There you go, very quick SFT there. Both players fast traveling to elevator deck at the exact same time, except Crewds doing it to go to sleep while Wh0mis doing it for SFT. But that was pretty much frame perfect. It's pretty funny. I'm seeing that Crewds is still in the lead here, even after that mistake. And Wh0mis isn't even playing that bad. Like, Wh0mis hasn't made a lot of mistakes and mashing quickly. Crewds is just an unstoppable tide. making anyone who did not pick crewds to win this tournament second guess their predictions. This lead is not so big for crewds that he can afford to make that many mistakes. We see something like a misinput on the elevator code. We could see whom taking the lead, at the very least catching up significantly. Although it would still take whom playing insanely well while crewds making at least one very big mistake or multiple small mistakes in order for him to catch up. We did see the very big mistake last run. That's why we're in a game 3, so it is possible. Groot's playing extremely fast right now, just smashing through this text, equipping that very quickly. Let's see this elevator code. 63014. That's right. Let's see them get through this smashing in the elevator here. Like I said, it's kind of awkward due to the way they have to select all 3 options. It's very easy to misselect into the same one twice. Crewds is doing very well though. I think who talked about the city twice, if I'm not mistaken. No, he didn't. Okay. It just looked like it. Crewds some very fast travels. Fast travel, call it fast travel for a reason. Let's see if he can get Kip Skip. Missed it once the first time. Got it very quickly both times in the second game. That looked good. Let's see if we can get a good George. So George 1 then George 6 from crewds, I think. Now we're seeing George 3. George 3 is the slowest George, losing a few seconds just due to all these ellipses. Very unfortunate. It's not a huge time loss, but it's one of those things that you want to avoid it, obviously. It's annoying to lose that time for absolutely no reason. Nothing you could have done. I'm getting George 4. All these Georges have different personalities as well, so she acts a little bit differently every time. Definitely something worth playing and seeing for yourself, because some of them are pretty funny. George 3 is actually a pretty funny iteration, even if as a speedrunner we hate her. Could still mash through very quickly here. Good, the very quick fast Kip Skip there. And he is good. It's pretty sure. Let's look to see soft lock on game 3. You hate to go out that way. Whom takes it slowly, does get it. Crewds a very fast travel as well there. Trying to make up all this time he lost. Due to George 3 and then also the Calamus decision. But it does not look like he's going to be able to, already in the red. And looking at his stream, yeah, he lost another 1.9 seconds. So no world record today, but something that would very likely be a PB. It's looking like a PB if he didn't get that world record earlier. Both players in the tower now. I assume crewds, making sure that the clover's open. Everything's good with that. Whom just not talking to computer as well. crewds maintaining his lead for sure. Does not want to lose it, even after that big mistake. And it sounds like we're going to see him enter the tower. Yep. Just as soon falls asleep. crewds does not want to make any mistakes in this tower because while he does have a pretty solid lead, if Wh0mi has a really good tower and crewds does not, we could see the lead change. This might be the closest we've seen in tower. Did crewds mess up? I looked away and Wh0mi has a lead now. I didn't see what happened. Did crewds mess up? I'm gonna guess he had to mess up. That's very unfortunate. Wh0mi having a very good tower and crewds making these mistakes I was talking about that could lead to him losing this game. Yeah, Wh0mi is not making mistakes here. I don't think Wh0mi's watching the stream, but Wh0mi cannot afford to make mistakes right now. Seeing he barely has this lead, any mistakes in light bulb here could definitely do him in, and he's going. So far, so good. And that's it. I don't think crewds can catch up now. That's it. Wh0mi took game 2 there. Or game 3, I mean, whatever that is. I can't count. Wow, crewds not having a good day. Getting world record game 1, so good day. But then this game 2 and 3 was very unfortunate. This is an extremely close game, but it's got a sting. That's very unfortunate for crewds. But because we are behind, I'm going to wrap up while they're finishing the run. We are going to see, it looks like, very unlikely for crewds to catch up, obviously. We're going to see Wh0mi moving on to play Durbil in the winners finals here. Winner of that game is going to move on to grand finals. On the winner side gets 1 game advantage in best of 5. Then we're going to see loser. We're going to see crewds coming down to fight Chris in loser semis. Or losers quarters, actually. That's how that works. Losers quarters. Well, then, yeah. So, GG's to Wh0mi. Also, big GG's to crewds for getting world record game 1, which, overall, who's the real winner if you got world record game 1? Yes, thank you, Lori, for dropping those links. We are behind. I am going, with that, I am going to end this, move on to the next game. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you had a lovely and enjoy Zelda 1 Randomizer. Going to be coming on Speed Gaming 1, it seems like. So very exciting. Be sure to stay for that. Later.